truth. And if you want to know the truth of the matter, the truth is you should tune in to Stewie's Wrestling Podcast. If even just for the fact that you get to see me and this wonderful host go toe-to-toe in a wonderful episode. So with that said, this has been the truth. And if you can't handle the truth, you most certainly can't handle the profit.
A warm welcome. This is episode 159 of Stu's Wrestling Podcast, hailing from the North Wales coast. I'm trying to do my best Mike Angus impression there. Didn't do it justice. And I've got two guests today. I've got double trouble, my former co-members on the Wrestling Travel Podcast a couple of years ago. First and foremost, it is the Maddog, Mike Angus, back on Stu's Wrestling Podcast for your fourth appearance, mate. But you're not alone today, Mike.
Exactly, mate. Great to see you as always. You're watching Stu's Wrestling Podcast live.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And my second guest, it's none other than Mr. Justin Clapper, the host of Justin Clapper's Pro Wrestling Show. And you've recently had an episode as well. It's been great to see you back doing that, JC. And I know you got some other announcements as we're in this live today. How are you, JC? How are things, bud?
Hey, I'm doing great. My one question I always have for you is what do I have to do to catch up to Mike Angus on guest appearances?
We'll do another two back to back if you want. You can be 160 and 161. I'll do
there we
that.
go.
I'll do that because we can go into AWA for another two episodes. Absolutely.
Oh, don't tease me with a good time, Stu.
Absolutely. Mike, you have been very busy as always, predominantly with Progress, but I know you've been up and down the country with other promotions, ring announcing, commentating, just being a very big helping hand to the promotions as well. So yeah, how's things been? I think we should go into Progress in a moment as well, but yeah, just how's it been being so busy, man?
Yeah, great, really good. Last couple of shows, so I've done quite a few bits recently. So I was in Newcastle, ring announcing for First Class Wrestling. Then we did commentary at Odyssey in Morecambe. That was 2 weekends ago. Last weekend, we were off the page in Warrington for Ben Cecil's first ever show that he's done. So that was great stuff. And then back, a nice close one to home for me, Knowsley, right near the safari park where I live. For First Class Wrestling as well last weekend. And that was great because I got to meet another Maddog, another famous Maddog ring announcer in the UK as well, who's been going for a little while, who ring announced back in the World of Sport days and everything that's been going right the way through. So that was great. And a big shout out to Lazar, of course. The Aussies are watching in force today, so that's great to see. And I know he's working hard, trying to get involved and everything. So great stuff. But I just wanted to say as well, JC, it's an absolute pleasure to catch up with you again and to see you looking so well, because I know you were a bit poorly earlier this year, and it's great to see you looking fit and healthy and ready to go. You look like a young Taz over there in the States today.
Well, that's why we don't have the full body shot, I don't know. No, I appreciate it, fellas. I appreciate you checking up on me. I had a rough start to the year, and man, stuff just happens. You never know what's going on. So I had about, I want to say 2 months in the old between the ER, and then I was in a rehab home, which was learning how to just walk again after you're on your back for so long. So I'm really lucky to be here, and I don't take any minute that we have for granted. And it's just, let's bring it back up. It's awesome to be on with you guys again. So I'm excited about today.
It really puts life into
it. You talk about Meltzer, are we?
No. I don't hate the guy. That's not what it's about. It's not. I'd never hate the guy. You know, my word, he's been around for many. I just don't agree. I just don't agree with certain things. But yeah, that's not, because it'll take 5 minutes for me to go on my little tirade about him, and we haven't got 5 minutes about me. It's about you guys today. So yeah, absolutely. But yeah, JC, just going back to that, it puts life into perspective, doesn't it? When things happen,
100%. Because what happened, guys, is one day I'm walking around and talking, and the next day I just thought I was sick, like just got a cold or something, or the flu. And then my family said, go to the doctor. When I went in, I was at like 60% oxygen and all this stuff. But in that, my thought process, I didn't think I was that bad. So my advice to everybody is, if you're feeling sick, go in, get it checked out, because I know I will now. I never really liked doctors, but that was and it wasn't scary at the time. It was the aftermath of, oh, now I can't walk. I put on 60 pounds of water weight. The doc says, hey, yeah, you're 4 days from tapping out. But I never felt like that in the moment. I just thought, it'll get better. So anyway, I keep bringing the show down.
No, you're not. No. This is live stuff, and it's great. It's part and parcel of live. We're predominantly here for wrestling, but man, no, absolutely. Just glad you're my hero, mate. You're my hero. You really, truly are coming through it. And look at you now. No,
I appreciate
it's
it.
Good.
Fellas.
It's good. It's good to have you back. It's good to have you back, man. Honestly,
It's great to be with you guys. I'm excited about the shenanigans today. And
As Mike alluded to, Laz has been in the comments, our friend from Australia. How is everyone? Hope you're well, Lazza. And then he's also said, my mate who is moving back to England is a fan of Luke Jacobs, as I showed him some progress from the Progress On Demand platform. Good plug there, Lazza. His family are from England. He's English, but went to school with me here in Australia.
Oh, that's cool.
I think that's talking about his friend, not Luke Jacobs, though. Luke Jacobs, absolutely brilliant wrestler. And, he's somebody I've worked with for a long time. And some of his matches he's had have been absolutely brilliant. And his tag team, obviously, with Ethan Allen as well, they were absolutely brilliant. And then he's gone on to even bigger and better things even since then as well. Winning his the Atlas tournament at Progress, becoming the Atlas champion. And this is a guy who impresses every show he does for us. One of my favourite matches I've seen him have was actually in his hometown of Manchester, when him and Kid Lycos 2 had an amazing match last year. And they got a absolute standing applause. The whole place was up on its feet at the O2 Ritz in Manchester. And we are back there on November the 12th. So hopefully we'll see Luke Jacobs in action again then. And of course, this coming weekend, we've got a big show coming up, but we'll speak about that very shortly.
Absolutely, because I know you want to talk about TNT Extreme Wrestling, Mike, before that. So I think maybe we'll segue into the first show, obviously, for TNT. And it's going to be Ignition, Ignite the Fire, Mike. So, yeah, just plug away, please.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Looking forward to this one on the 21st of October. So this Saturday, show's starting at around 1 o'clock, I believe. So a big show here. There's all sorts of stars on this one. Of course, Lucy Sky is defending her TNT Ignition Women's Championship against the radioactive one, the wonderful Sapphire Reed, who... I saw for the first time and ring announced for the first time at Sirens Fury last month. Absolutely brilliant young talent, JC. Somebody you'll definitely want to look out for. We've also got MVK taking on Shreddy, which is an interesting one because Jimmy Jackson was tagging with Shreddy as a little version of Shreddy for a short while. And then he's joined with MVK in Britain's Most Wanted. And then it's come and Shreddy's return now after his injury. So now MVK versus Shreddy. I don't know if Jimmy Jackson's going to be in a shark cage or anything like that, sort of NWA style for you, JC. But it could be a Jim Cornette moment for Jimmy Jackson this weekend. And of course, the wonderful tag team of Act 2, the indie wrestler Jack Knudsen and Sweet Prince Benjamin Harland are taking on Scouse and Proud, which is the body girl Harley Hudson. And, of course, the liver bird, Lizzie Evo. So our wonderful TNT Women's Tag Team Championship holders there, taking on Act 2. And they're two guys who've worked so hard on the independent scene. They were even working at Progress as red shirts, helping out. If they're not booked on a show, they're there, helping out or doing what they can, helping sell merch, really getting themselves involved and working so hard on the scene. Two great guys, definitely worth checking out. And they fought somebody you'd be very familiar with, JC. They took on Bussy at our last show as well. So Effie and Ali Catch fought against Act 2. And I think Effie was having one of his favourite days there. We've also got a TNT Ultra X Championship match as the champion who won a Project X, Reese, is taking on the former champion, Nico Angelo, who unfortunately had an injury that weekend and had to vacate the title. Nico is coming back and he wants his belt back. So that's going to be another amazing contest. Reese, absolute standout performer, JC. I'm sure you've had a chance to witness him in action, but he's been in GCW as well over in the States. And during WrestleMania weekend, he was all over the place in America. So, this guy's a star. We've also got a couple of other matches. The Temple of Malum, Rob Drake and Isaac North are going to be taking on Leon Gray and Max Brooker. Leon, the king of the ring crew, and his tag team partner, Max Brooker. These two guys don't always get along the best, they could. So it's going to be interesting to see how they get along this weekend. And of course, then our big main event, RPD, the natural born fighter, a former boxer, JC, who's just done amazingly to translate what he does into a wrestling career. And this is somebody who connects with the fans wherever we are in the UK. Up in Morecambe, he's almost a deity, a god sort of standard there. And, he's done so well at all the different promotions we've seen him at. Really, the fans just absolutely love him. And he's taken on two people who you may very well know. Of course, Stu's going to know the Druid, Dylan Roberts, Welshman himself. And
still
of course,
going strong, man. Still going strong.
And as
What's
well, making it a triple threat, Joey Hayes is going to be involved as well. So that's going to be, it's going to be a real tough one for RPD. I mean, he's fought off numerous challenges before, including the likes of Chase Alexander. But this is going to be probably his toughest challenge yet for the TNT Ignition Championship on Saturday. So a nice family-friendly show to get the weekend started. And, I think anyone who can get tickets and get along to that one with their family is going to really enjoy that show. The level of talent for a family-friendly show there, from the independent wrestling scene in the UK is so strong. And that Ignite the Fire is going to be an amazing show. Who would you look forward to seeing out of those, JC? Do you know about any of these young talent we've got on that show?
I do know about. Yeah, I do know. I keep my eye on TNT, but I have to go back. I ask a dumb American question.
Go for it.
Lizzie Evo. What did you say her nickname was?
The Liver Bird, Lizzie Evo.
Okay, all right. This is stupid. I am, and on behalf of the rest of Americans, I will take the hit on this. I always thought because the shows are in Liverpool, right? I always read that as the Liver Bird, which I thought was.
Bird. Well, actually, it's interesting you should say that because it's a Liverpool, and we've got the Liver building in Liverpool, and on the Liver building, there's two Liver birds on the roof, and it's sort of quite a historical thing. If the Liver birds leave Liverpool, it's going to be cursed or something along those lines. I think it is. So, of course.
Oh my God, that makes so much more sense to me now. Sorry.
No worries. For years, I was Liverpool to do the tour around Liverpool. Come and do the Beatles tour. We'll give you the guided tour, mate. Get you along to a show, and you'll get to see all that stuff in action. Then,
and I can apologize to Lizzie personally then for I never said that out loud. It was just in my head. I'm like the Liver Bird. That's.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're not the only person to make that mistake because when we were when SmackDown was in Liverpool, Vince McMahon came out and was talking to the audience and he said, "What the hell is a Liverpool anyway? It sounds like some sort of disgusting disease."
As only Vince can.
Exactly.
As only Vince can. Lazar, again, TNT Extreme Wrestling are a great promotion. Absolutely. Yeah, that's good. Fantastic. And then he's gone on to say, I think, because we were talking about RPD, Lazar has also said, my uncle was a Golden Glove, apparently. So there we go. Tough man. Cool. Tough man there, Mr. Johnson. Absolutely, absolutely. And also former guest of the show, the Metal Maniac, Jeff Miller, is with us from Hawaii. Brother Daddy, Daddy brother Hawaii, he's watching worldwide. Stu, thank
That's
you, Jeff.
awesome.
Glad you're watching on YouTube, mate. And I hope all is well over there in Hawaii. And then one more from Lazar before we go on to the second show with TNT. Hope to visit England once, mate. Moves there and settle, etc. Really excited. Might catch some Progress Wrestling, TNT Wrestling if I visit. Well, we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you over here, Lazar.
Always welcome, mate.
Absolutely. And moving on, Mike, we have got Cold Day in Hell also. So, yeah, all the news on that leading up to the show this weekend, if you can, please, mate.
Yeah, well, of course, Ignition, is going to light the fire, but then Hell's going to freeze over in the evening because it's Cold Day in Hell. It's over 18s, and there's already been some amazing matches announced for this one. Visage versus Shea Monet. So Visage cost Shea Monet their championship basically at the last show. Shea Monet had that amazing moment at the end of TNT versus GCW, literally a career-defining moment, winning the TNT World Championship from Charles Crowley. And then it was all taken away brutally by Visage, who hit Shea Monet in the head with a crutch and allowed Tate Mayfair, who was the level-up briefcase holder, to make his way to the ring and steal the TNT World Championship there on that occasion. So there's hell to pay for Visage from Shea Monet, which is going to be a really interesting matchup. And of course, we're also going to see, you can see down at the bottom, it's going to be a cold day in Hell because Hell's froze over because Blue Payne is going to be back in the house. The big redacted machine is from Antarctica, and he is going to be taking on the Mundertaker. So Gene Money's been beaten by Blue Payne in the past, and the Mundertaker is making a return to take on his brother of Distraction. So that's going to be an interesting one there as well, of course. Some other amazing matches. Obviously, Lizzie Evo now is a double champion at the moment, being the TNT Women's Tag Team Champion holder and also the TNT Women's Champion, after she beat Alexis Falcon in about 4 seconds at the last show in an amazing, just crazy situation there. So Lizzie is going to be defending her championship against Emerson Jane, who's done amazingly at TNT and had some absolute bangers of some matches over the GCW weekend there. One against Session Moth Martina and an absolutely wild death match against Rina Yameshita, which was just crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if Emerson's still feeling that one, but she's got her opportunity to face Lizzie for the TNT Women's Championship this weekend. So we're really looking forward to that one. And of course, you can see Lycos Jim are going to be in action. Doris, man like Doris, is going to be in action. There is going to be a crazy when Hell freezes over Cold Day in Hell death match. And of course, our main event that's been announced this week, Tate Mayfair's, the champion, is going to be taking on the Raddy Daddy, Cole Radrick, making his return to TNT. So it's great to see the Raddy Daddy back in the UK. And we're looking forward to seeing that one. And can Tate Mayfair's hold on to that belt that he's just stolen away from Shea Monet? Going to be interesting times at TNT. Cold Day in Hell this Saturday. Tickets still available now. And don't forget to get your VIP tickets, and you'll be in with a chance of meeting Big Effing Joe, who has just recently won the Tournament of Death over there in the States with you, JC. So one of the best deathmatch wrestlers on the planet. And currently, according to that trophy, he's the best deathmatch wrestler on the planet. TNT Extreme Division Champion. He's doing big things at Rise in the UK. And as well, of course, Tournament of Death winner. So pretty amazing talent there.
And you know how much I love death matches.
Well, we know that, JC, but if there's a big fan base over here who
I know.
They were raised.
I wasn't gonna Meltzer you up like Stu did. So a question for you. It's awesome that they do family friendly show and then an over 18 show. What on average, what draws more there?
I find both shows do really well because the families, the kids with them in the daytime, and then the kids get sent home to the babysitters or whatever, and then the rest of the wild children from Liverpool who love the death matches and everything appear, and all the rockers and the hip hoppers and everybody all around the world. So we have some great numbers at the Hangar 34 in Liverpool. It's a packed house. for the extreme shows and these ignition shows. We have the seats out there, so it's a nice, comfortable one for the families. So everybody has a great time. And of course, I just saw Mac Davis in the comments there. Big shout out to Mac. Great to see.
Let's get Big Mac up.
Yeah, what a legend. I was lucky enough to meet Mac at WrestleMania this year at WrestleCon, and he interviewed Charles Crowley actually at WrestleCon when I was there with him. So good to see JC's doing better.
There you go, JC.
Thanks, Mac.
We love Mac.
Appreciate that.
Top man. Now, before I segue fully into the Progress show this weekend, I have got a clip from Justin Clapper's Pro Wrestling Show with the current Progress World Champion, Spike Trivet. And I tell you what, you kept your cool very well, JC. I tell you, because he was in one of their moods, wasn't he, was the champion? And I know he's made a lot of defenses, but you did well. You did well not blowing your top with him. I tell you that.
Let's see how it went here.
Little excerpt from it. Here we go.
Like us, but
why aren't we talking about that then?
I want to.
Why aren't we talking about that? What? No. Why? If you want to talk about it, then why aren't we fucking talking about it? Why are you talking about that? Yes. All right. So Lycos won the first Lycos, the best Lycos apparently. He took me in his Lycos clutch or whatever it is, rolled me up in a 6-man when the ref wasn't paying attention. Managed to get a 6 count. It was very good. And if you look at the photos of that, there is a very clear hand on the back of my tights. If you look at that very, very closely, but nobody seems to be bringing that up. That doesn't seem to be a thing that people want to bring up, is it?
We get the gist there, don't we? He was, and I tell you what, the sheer fact he had to swear at you, JC. I think you rattled the champion's cage there, didn't you? Some would say.
Look, you got to make the transition, and I've seen it so many times, and so have you. When a competitor retires out of the ring and stays in the business, doing some behind-the-scenes stuff, and in my case, doing some interviews, it's hard, but everybody's got a role to play, and I've got to keep my cool. I was simply asking him about contenders that he has faced. He was celebrating 1 year of being over 1 year of being the Progress champion, and there we go. Lycos had caught him in a 6-man match. Mike, you probably were there, and everybody's seen it by now. So simply asking the questions that I didn't think were that tough, but what people want to hear, and he actually walked away, slammed the phone, if you want to say, from the interview, and told me about. He said I eat roadkill and all kinds of stuff. So I got under the champ's skin, and I obviously meant no disrespect, but you gotta ask those questions. That's what people want to know, and that's the very I haven't been doing interviews since the illness, so I wanted to ask the questions that every fan would want to know about, and be a journalist, a wrestling journalist, and let people know what's going on. And some say that was a bad way to start, but it was a good way to start. It got some eyeballs on my show and the champ, and hopefully it got some eyeballs on the Progress show. And, I hate to admit it, but, the champ did have a couple really good points in there. It's just too bad that I got under his skin, so to say.
It's not tough to get under his skin, but he is an absolutely impeccable competitor and somebody I've been watching him over this last year and a half, and he is the vulture of Progress, such a dangerous individual. He can take on any independent wrestler in the world at the moment, and I could see him coming out on top, because he's a cerebral assassin like Triple H was back in the day. But this guy's just somebody who's just methodical about the way he destroys his opponents. It's just such a dangerous individual in the ring, Spike Trivet. And I think, JC, you were lucky the interview was remote, because if he'd had you in that ring, he might have turned you into a raccoon burger or something. Roadkill grill special.
I tell you what, besides being methodical in the ring, one of the best talkers, one of the best guys on the mic out there. Like, he doesn't need my help to talk people into catching him in the arena. But as much respect I have for him, the roof will blow off the electric ballroom that day that inevitably will come where somebody gets the best of him.
Well, he's so intelligent, JC. He's so intelligent, obviously raised in Cambridge, but he surrounds himself He surrounds himself with people who can look out for him. He's got Bullet almost as a bodyguard, and he's got the rest of Dominatus Regnum, the Smoking Aces as well, who are the Progress Tag Team Champions, helping him out as well. All the time he has, not only is he answering the questions in the ring and in the interviews, he's answering them by having this backup behind him at all times, so he's at the moment, he's cruising at the moment. So we need a big shake-up of Progress if they're going to unsettle him off his perch, to be honest. So it'd be interesting to see what happens this weekend. He's making a statement this weekend, and it could be anything. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised if, after seeing how he's wrestled for the last 2 years and the trajectory that man's on, I wouldn't be surprised if his announcement is that he's been signed by WWE or AEW, because he's absolutely brilliant competitor, brilliant character, and brilliant wrestler. But I hope for Progress's sake and for UK wrestling scene that it's not yet, because this is a guy who's just super talented, and I think everybody wants to see him get beaten. Is the thing. That's the thing about him. We want to see him lose, but he's gonna
thrive on that, isn't he? The way he is, and you can't take away from the fact. Look how many defenses he made, and look at how many defenses he's made in a short space of time. He's a fighting champion. You might not agree with what he's saying, but he's made a hell of a lot of defenses, that guy. So I can't take that away from him.
That's it. But
he got the best of my
means.
He got the best of my guy twice. Big Damo.
Exactly, and that's,
you know what, I got a ton of respect for that man. Yeah,
exactly. And he's So the match he's referring to in Sheffield at the O2 in Sheffield the other month, Lycos managed to roll him up, and he was rolled up for about a 7 count there before he kicked out because the referee was down. But that was the whole crowd were counting along with that one. But then when it came to the big match for Lycos last month, as he hit a swanton on him towards the end of the match, Spike just snatched his mask off his head and rolled him up. Sneaky win there, but he's just always thinking. It's like he's a step ahead of the game. And as Laz has mentioned there, it reminds him of Regal when Regal was dangerous in his prime. And that Regal has been a dangerous wrestler for many years, always absolutely excellent. And of course, you can see some of the best villains in the business being mentioned in the comments there. And of course,
Taj Cower there. One person you don't mess with is Spike Trivet.
I found that out the hard way. I'm actually banned from interviewing Mr. Trivet anymore.
You're promoting. It's promotion for the guy. He should want. That's what he should want.
Went to Progress, whatever, the brass, and said if ever asked to talk and it's ever to get a hold of the guy and arrange a day and time, and Big Damo, yeah. I love that man.
Lazar again, yeah. Big Damo isn't an easy feat. Quite a dangerous competitor himself. Look what Big Damo's achieved in his career, and his credentials. So yeah, absolutely. I can't take away from the fact the amount of defenses that guy's made. I mean, you look through the list of people he's fought. He's fought the who's who within Progress. So you can't take it away from the guy. It's simple as that. I don't agree with him.
I should have sent you the graphic that Progress had sent me prior to the interview with this list of title defense in the year. I should have sent that ahead of time. So you can pull it up, but it's awesome.
He's gone through quite a list. Obviously, the likes of Cara Noir, DeReese, just absolutely brilliant, super talented wrestlers. Damo, Maloney, he's just done amazingly, and it's it's been an absolute just an absolute ride with him, just doing so well. And you can see so many people mention in the comments that he's just how dangerous he is. But this weekend, he's going to make that big announcement, and that is going to be at the Long Halloween on Sunday, the 22nd. We're at the Electric Ballroom, starting at 3 o'clock. And, it's going to be a really interesting. And as you mentioned, I believe Big Damo is going to be in the house on Sunday. So we'll be seeing that. But I'm very excited as well that it got mentioned about Vendetta in a couple of weeks' time in November. The whole of Sanity are going to be reunited. So that's going to be...
that's awesome.
Going to be really interesting stuff. But back to this Sunday, the Long Halloween, a couple of matches that we're really looking forward to. Lana Austin versus Alexis Falcon has been really kicking off recently at quite a few shows. Lana has been the Progress Women's Champion for a decent amount of time now, over a year herself, I believe, as the Women's Champion. And Alexis Falcon has been working her way through the women's division. Had an amazing feud with Nina Samuels that was settled at Super Strong Style in the Clock Strikes Midnight match. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to see that, but if you check out Demand Progress Plus, that matchup at Super Strong Style was one of my absolute favorites, a Clock Strikes Midnight match. And Alexis Falcon picked up the win at that one and then has been working towards being the number one contender since then. So this is her big opportunity to take on Lana Austin. And also, the Lana Austin Experience are banned from ringside for this one. So that's quite interesting to hear as well, with Alexis having a stipulation against her that if she does not win the Women's Championship on this occasion, she won't be able to challenge for the Progress Women's Championship ever again against Lana Austin. So that'll be interesting to see how that one turns out. We've also got another Women's Division match as well. Nina Samuels, the star of the Nina Samuels show, is going to be taking on Aaliyah James this week. So that's another interesting bout. Going to be very interested by that one. And some other matches that have been announced so far. Obviously, Luke Jacobs is going to be taking on Warren Banks. So great to see the Nigerian Kaiji Warren Banks back in action. And that's going to be a battle, that one. Those guys have fought a couple of times over the last couple of years. And I think that's going to be interesting. Could go either way with that one. And one that you'll particularly be interested in, Justin, the Warrior Championship. Warrior World Championship is being defended. Casey Navarro, who's the Warrior World Champion, he beat Will Ospreay to pick that belt up. He had an amazing appearance at Progress last month, and he's back to take on a couple of different people in this one. Jack Bandicoot's going to be involved from Crash Boat. Brent Banks as well, a Canadian wrestler who's wrestled on Progress in the past, who's been around for a long while. I'm sure you know him as well. And of course, Vaughn Vertigo as well. So a real international flair to this one. Vaughn last took part in Progress, I believe, at Manchester O2. Ritz last year we had the Super Mob Smash, and he's also had a match with Joe Lando at the Tufnell Park Dome as well. So interesting match, this four-way, JC. So I want to hear your thoughts on this, because I'm sure Brent, Vaughn, and Casey are going to be people you know pretty well.
Well, Casey Navarro is somebody I'm very familiar with. He's had a bit of a change of heart over here at Warrior. One of the greatest matches, I've seen many live, but as it was at PPW, Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling last year, was Casey and a gentleman named JT Dunn. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with, but they put on a classic. And a lot of times you'll see a classic on TV, but watching it unfold in front of you live is amazing. If you're or anywhere near where Casey, and especially this weekend, get over there and see him. I do have an interview scheduled with Mr. Navarro. Was supposed to take place. We've been kind of jostling back and forth a couple dates. He's a very busy man. One of the things I wanted to ask him was, it's a bit of to defend that Warrior wrestle in another country, and now in a four-way match. Like, what is the thought process? I know that the ego is, hey, I can beat anybody. But is that the wisest decision? I'm hoping that we get a chance to speak in the next couple of days, and I'll have that up. But there's the man himself. If you haven't gotten a chance to see this guy, no matter, sometime lately he's had a bit of a change of heart, but you cannot take away from his incredible skill in the ring. He always puts on a classic. So I'm looking forward to that. You mentioned Demand Progress Plus. It is available worldwide. I know I can't see it live, but I can catch that match in a few days after it is uploaded on the platform. So that's a fairly new platform that I'm really excited about, to be able to catch up on everything over here. And it's not just Progress. It's other promotions on there too. So in this day and age, there's a lot of streaming options. I think this is one of the best, and one of the best values for the money. Christmas stocking stuffer for you friends.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, fantastic. Mike, busy as always then for you. But you wouldn't have it any other way, would you?
That's it, Stu. I'd be bored if I wasn't doing something, So great stuff coming up. A couple of other matches I didn't mention was we've also got Yoshiki Inamura is going to be involved as well. Tate Mayfair's also Gene Money taking on Nathan Cruz. at the weekend. So it's a packed house, and there's all sorts of great talent on that show. So if you are in London over the weekend, get yourselves along to the Electric Ballroom. This is a show you're not going to want to miss. And of course, all fans are invited to wear fancy dress for this one. If you want to get involved, there's a competition to win tickets for our next show and some merchandise, I believe. So Chapter 158, The Long Halloween, this Sunday, 22nd of October in the Electric Ballroom. And it's going to be an amazing show. Really looking forward to it. And, anything can happen. It could be tricks. It could be treats. But, I'm excited for it. And it's going to be a fun weekend with TNT and Progress Wrestling both this weekend coming up. And then we're heading into November. There's more to come still. We've got, WWE over in the UK. Impact Wrestling have got a big tour coming up. Awesome. And we've got so many local promotions running shows constantly. People like Tidal, Odyssey Wrestling. Big shout out to Wrestle Island on the Wirral as well, where I live. There's just so much going on. All-Star Wrestling, First Class Wrestling. Big shout out to them all. Keep the hard work coming. And the wrestlers in the UK, there's so many upcoming talents, JC, you're going to hear about in the next few years over in the States. And, the UK is a hotbed for amazing wrestling talent at the moment. So, keep your eyes peeled. And if you need anyone to debut over there in the States for any of your promotions, let us know. We can send you some CVs and recommendations over, because, the British invasion in wrestling is going to be coming again very soon. Don't you worry.
That's fantastic.
Great stuff. JC, anything to add?
No, I forget how quickly Maddog segues into the next thing. Because I was still on Spike Trivet, but I was going to say real quick to go back to Spike and Progress, if you guys don't mind. In my opinion, watching Lycos pinning him down for that 7 count, 7 or 8 count, whatever it is, seems to bring out a more of a vicious side of somebody who is already vicious. Would you agree? Like, he was absolutely, he's already an angry guy. And when I talked to him, just to see him get that streak back out, wouldn't you say that brought out the worst in him, Mike?
Yeah, and his rage on certain occasions is unparalleled. I've seen him just absolutely demolish opponents before. The match where he had against Cara Noir, who's was an amazing Progress champion in the cage at Heavy Metal, I believe it was Chapter 151. He that was just for them two to be locked in that cage. It was absolutely brutal. And then, unfortunately, Cara Noir has actually been injured since that matchup. So from the damage that Spike Trivet inflicted on him in that matchup. So wishing Cara all the best. I believe there was a GoFundMe for Cara Noir, and I believe it did really well. So hopefully he'll be on the mend, and hopefully we will see him return to a wrestling ring. But Spike is just, as I said, he's on a different level. I always refer to it sort of like with the old Star Wars analogy. He's now just at the level where he's just like the Emperor Palpatine. He's just, there's a certain evil when he steps into the arena. I was ring announcing a Tidal Wrestling in Huddersfield the other week, and Spike was involved in a match against Gene Money there. And just when he first came out, the whole place was just silent, just for a moment, because it was as if an evil presence had just entered into that building in the parish in Huddersfield. And then the chants started, which we can't repeat on this show, unfortunately. But if you want Tidal Wrestling back, you'll be able to see what that was. But it's a chant that seems to follow Mr. Trivet about, and is slightly political. And I'm sure you can guess what it is from that. But big shout out to everyone who's commenting, by the way. If you've got any questions for me, Stu, or JC, get involved now. Feel free to ask. We're on here for a few more minutes yet. And hey, exactly. Taj there saying there is a unique type of evilness in Spike. It's absolutely true.
I'll fire that one up. Sorry, I'm going down like chronologically here. Yeah, absolutely, Taj. I've struggled.
The comments are coming in fast and furious. Is that what you're saying?
James Barris there, Mike. Hey, Mike. Hey guys.
Hello, James.
And then just going back to Laz's comment there, the British invasion has been building for years in pro wrestling. Exciting things to come. Just to allude to that as well, Spike and Cara Noir, quite possibly the biggest feud in wrestling at the time. I would say
definitely.
It was, the world over. It was known about, wasn't it?
Yeah, and amazing.
That says something, doesn't it? That really does.
Testament to the hard work that these guys have put in, and they've worked so hard to get to the absolute top of their game, and they deserve everything that happens for them in the future. The British invasion, and there's so many absolutely brilliant wrestlers. You can see the driller Dan Maloney as out in Japan now with the War Dogs as well, just doing amazingly. He's, and the 0121, he's trained those guys up to a level as well. They're ready to rock and roll. And when we have GCW across with TNT the other month, and a lot of the GCW guys wrestled on Progress as well, and it was great to see that our guys were up to that level as well, which is the brilliant independent wrestling still out there. Not everyone's been signed to AEW and WWE. There's still great wrestling talent wherever you go, and all the time there's young upcoming stars. I see people like Chrissy Decker, Tommy Freeman as well, the young blood Tommy Freeman, hearing lots of good things about Nathan Angel. Just so many great talents.
Is that the only way?
On the rise. And when you have people like he is, he's somebody who's come over and he's saying, he performed at the Ballroom and it was one of the best audiences he's ever performed in front of. That's exactly what we like to hear, because our crowds are rowdy. There's all sorts of chants going off. Without the Progress faithful and the TNT, the Wolfpack, etc., we wouldn't be in the business. It would. A big thank you as always to our fans for supporting us. Make sure you get along to TNT on Saturday. Make sure you get to the Ballroom on Sunday down in London. And there's exciting times coming, JC. And one of these days, JC, I want to see you getting yourself over here. To come and see a show at some point, and we'll give you that guided tour of Liverpool, because it's a good banter. And Stewie, I heard you're coming to Manchester on November the 12th. Did you get the day off?
Yeah, you've put me on the spot, haven't you, Mike? It's a good job my wife doesn't watch this show, isn't it? I'd say the only stuff she watched, I've said this prior on when we were doing wrestling travel, Total Divas. She did watch the first takeover in Brooklyn, actually, when Sasha and Bailey had the ladder match, and I thought, we're on to something here. And this was very much when we were in the infancy of our relationship. I thought, she's going to get into wrestling here. It wasn't to be, but she does still love Natalya. She's got a lot of respect for her from watching her on the reality show and that. She would, if I pressed her for a favourite, she'd say Natalya. And she knows her onions with that one, to be fair to her. Good girl, Caris. There we go. I'm just waffling now. Sorry, boys.
Mate, you'll have to get her onto Laura Austin, Lizzie Evo, Rio, Alexis Falcon,
absolutely.
Harley Hudson, some of the best female wrestlers in the UK. She could really, really enjoy those ladies, and that's, it's great that we've got so many brilliant talent coming through. So yeah, love it. Great stuff.
The Ritz, Mike. Like, I've been to the Ritz for gigs over the years, and I'm not just saying it because Progress are running there, and they always have done when they've come up north. But it is a superb venue. It's fantastic for music, and it's been fantastic for you guys, hasn't it? For the wrestling, what a venue! Just the layout of the place is superb.
It's spot on, and as well the backstage area is brilliant for the wrestlers. Lots of space for them, dressing rooms and etc. And the balcony around there is brilliant. You won't see anyone jumping off the balcony, I don't believe, after last time, and they got in trouble for that. But but that's always one of my favourite clips. You can still go back and watch it on demand, Progress Plus, and see it. That Manchester show, I believe it was chapter 128, Technique. There's a flip off that balcony, and that balcony is high, JC. It's higher than the Hammerstein Ballroom balconies. I would say it's a decent height, and I believe, I'm thinking back now, it was one of the Smoking Aces, Nick Riley or Charlie Sterling did a flip off that balcony. It's one of the highest drops I've seen in a long, long time. Absolutely amazing stuff. But
absolutely. Laz has got a question for you here, Mike. Mike asked you before. We'll throw this out for the show. If someone has a dream to get involved in pro wrestling creative, be it promoter, booker, etc., what is your tips and advice?
Go to a qualified school, old school. Sorry, that was questions for you, Mike. But
JC.
You gotta
around the business for years.
You gotta understand the business. You gotta understand the business at that basic level. You've got to understand what's going on and how to create things that actually the fans are interested in. It's a lot more. You guys will know this, but the average person on the street will turn on pro wrestling and use the F word. And say it's this and that, but a lot goes into that. These boys and girls put their bodies and their lives and their well-being on the line every weekend. And it is an art form and a science behind the create. I usually don't like to talk behind the scenes stuff like this, but if you want to promote, book, creative, that's awesome. It's just going about it the right way and not just understanding the business, but understanding the demographics and the crowd and where you're at and what story you're trying to tell, what you're trying to push. And at the end of the day, it's all about, you need to make the money to draw in the your talent and to be able to run continuously. Everything we do in life, hopefully you're making a little bit of money at to push on, and that's what you've got to understand. And also you got to throw down the ego a little bit. It's working together. And Mike, I'll now let you answer the question that was actually for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries at all. I was just going to say I've heard a lot about Colton Davis as well. So James, thank you for that tip. We'll keep our eyes out for Colton Davis, upcoming talent. But yeah, my advice, Lazar, would be to sort of get along to as many shows as you can, help out where you can, get involved, support your local wrestlers and talents who are working hard, striving to become wrestlers. Helps, watch out who's the rising talent and who's going to be, somebody you can watch out for in the future. And generally, one thing I think is quite important is to actually be a decent person and try and help other people out and make yourself valuable to be able to help people and to be able to promote the shows, to reshare, if you're working for a show, reshare what they're doing, try and promote it for them, help them out. Because at the end of the day, the more tickets that they sell, the more successful it is, the more successful the business becomes. And then the more eyes that are on the amazing talent that we're trying to showcase. And, people from around the world see them, get to know them. And that's how people become, more popular and more famous. And at the end of the day, you want the best wrestlers to be in the best spots. So good storylines and feuds is important for them. And I think, just helping people out and getting involved, getting around there, seeing what's going on and learn the business the right way, as JC said. And that's it. That's
one of the things that you said, was super important. Within my first week of training, they asked me what I thought. And I said, I can't believe how nice everyone was to me. Because I was, of course, used to college football where you get, the hazing and everything in there. And, you're a freshman. And the greatest thing he ever told me was, yes, this is the level where we, pardon my language here, we weed out the assholes. You don't want somebody that's not there for the right thing. I don't want Stu, if you're the reason I'm using you for example, because you're the furthest thing from this. If you're an egotistical prick or asshole, I don't want you picking me up for a body slam because now my livelihood is on the line. My money, everything. It's like we weed them out here. So being a good person is great. And that's why a lot of people, quote unquote, backyarders don't go through that process. And everybody thinks, especially in the state where I'm at, you don't need a promoter's license. You could just, this is my advice. Is it Lazo? This is my advice to you. Don't go to a place that just says, yeah, kid, we'll put you in the ring. No problem. Because you're going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt. Go through the proper channels, because anybody in these states where you can run without a license can, and it's classic. I'm going to put the belt on myself. I'm the promoter. We call it like a tax return promoter. And now I watched one of the worst shows I've ever seen last year. And it was a tribute show to a fallen friend. And the ridiculousness that I saw on that, I saw some really good performers, but then I saw some real shit stuff that I was like cringy, like somebody's going to get hurt. Yeah, I could go on for miles about that, but being a nice guy, treating people with respect goes a long way, not just in pro wrestling, but in life.
I have one other thing to add, sorry lads, as well, that I think is quite important as well, is to sort of know your history and watch back and, actually have a good knowledge of professional wrestling and things. And that Stewie leads us on quite nicely as well, because obviously JC teaches us a lot. You know, he got me onto Warrior Wrestling during the pandemic when they were still able to run, the likes of Warhorse, Casey Navarro, even I think Kid Bandit maybe, and a few other amazing talents from the States who I'd not seen as much of before. When they were able to run during that time, you know, I was staying up and watching, Texas Pally Pro Wrestling that people were sending me codes for and stuff, because, you know, the only thing running over here was Progress, and that didn't start until a bit later on, did it? So there was stuff still ongoing in the States, and I think it's good as well to sort of know your history, but also be able to watch other things and learn about, you know, just keep learning all the time. There's so much to learn and stuff. So it's I think that's important.
I won't name
the AWA, doesn't it?
I won't name the promoter, the wrestler, trainer as well. He's gone out and put stuff out on the socials about people not being trained. As you know, alluding to what JC said, at the end of the day, somebody could get seriously hurt, and he's been very good the way he's done the videos. I'm not going to name the person, but I took a lot from that. He was sounding off about, you know, how you know, serious it could be if you're not trained correctly. And, you know, he's gone out there and put it out there. And it was right. It was right, because there's people out there doing it who haven't got the credentials, haven't got the proper training, as you say. So it was nice to hear that he's looking out for the safety of the business, the performers.
Yeah, because even well-trained, accidents happen. You know, stuff happens, as we all well know. I mean, look at used to have that 30-second spot with WWE, "Don't try this at home," which is never worked on us as teenagers, but it's very important, and it's all about taking care of each other in the ring. Absolutely. And then Warrior Wrestling, another fun fact, speaking of during the pandemic, the Stadium Series at Warrior Wrestling, and you check them out on YouTube. Steve and Eric do a great job, but that was the first professional wrestling show in North America. In the pandemic, they ran it in September, 3 consecutive weekends, called the Stadium Series, and it was great. I had some great. I was there for all 3. Brought Miss Alicia Atute back, which was very difficult because being from Canada, getting to the States during that time, we actually got her to the last one, which is awesome. But I had some very candid stuff that went on Wrestling Travels Twitter that I should probably share. Again, I had a great time. Jeff Cobb versus Brian Cage was the main. It was awesome. Brian Pillman Jr., who is now in NXT, as I forget his name now.
Lexis King.
Okay.
Lexis King is as far away from his father as possible, isn't it? With that, as that promo was very good, actually.
But you mentioned Warhorse. The Rascals were huge in Warrior, but that like the British Proving Ground, just some of the best young talent coming up. I can't think of her. Cora Jade. Back first saw her, and you could see something about that girl coming out Warrior, that like she's gonna be, and she was Elena Black at the time, totally different gimmick, but just had a presence about her. But yeah, that's kind of what I do now. Is of trying to, Mike, as you say, look out for these guys in the States, is I'm trying to match up wrestlers and help them reach out to other promotions. Everybody's dream over there is to come wrestle in the States, and everybody I talk to wants to wrestle across the pond. So I'm trying to be that person that can help people reach out to promotions and set up a CV or resume so they can work more. And not because I want to be some shady, because we got them all over. Those guys that are like, I'm this talented and they're going to sign autographs for 30. Now I'm just trying to help leave the business better than I found it, and try to help these guys and girls wrestle more and get in front of more fans.
James Barris, where can I watch Warrior Wrestling in the UK?
Well, I don't know if I'm breaking any news to anybody here, but I know you can catch Warrior Wrestling on YouTube. Go to Warrior. They're all over social media. But I do believe, Mike, I don't know. I mean, how many people do we got watching here? I do believe they are going to, at some point, I hope I'm not breaking any news, that after they're on Fight TV, of course. You can catch that. And there's going to be another platform that they will be available on in the UK. I'm scared to death to say what that is right now because I sometimes when you know a little inside information, it's hard to remember. Is that public knowledge or not? Yeah. So, but I know they are coming very soon to a streaming platform near you.
There you go, James. There you go. Absolutely.
They showed a lot of stuff on YouTube during the pandemic. They were like, here we go. Everybody's stuck at home. Let's do it.
Lazar, giving you guys props here as well. Really appreciate regarding the great wisdom and time both Justin Club and Mike Angus are giving me. Cheers, mate. They will do the help.
He's put a beer in for JC and a little teapot in for a cup of tea.
Hey!
Oh, did you guys notice that? This is actually a fake cup of tea. I actually poured water in here. And I had a real cup of tea, but I thought I'd keep up with the British Empire here.
It's great. You know, you can go to JC. You can go to JC and Mike. That's they'll give you all their knowledge.
Yeah, Laszlo, catch us on what is it? It's not Twitter anymore. It's the X. I'm on TikTok. TikTok blew up on me. I got TikTok during the pandemic when Wrestling Travel got TikTok, and I'm like, I'll just get this stupid platform just so they can have one more follow. And I was up to like 20,000 followers. I think I'm down to like 18.7 thousand, which is not bad for
still good going. That JC,
go on, JC. It's decent, mate. It's still.
No one wants to hear me sing.
Yeah, I don't do any dance. It's all JC's Pro Wrestling Show, and it's actually fun. And I, with being sick, I haven't been doing the interviews and keeping up with that. But my main goal now is to try to just post more often because I put a lot of classic clips on there. One of I did with Kurt Hennig in the AWA. I think I sent it to you boys. They announced him at like 256 pounds. And Kurt's got the belt on and he just goes, his eyes get real big. Yeah. And I put it out and actually Kurt's widow actually reached out to me and asked me to send her the clip, which that's huge.
Amazing.
That's what it's all about, mate. That's a good question as well from James there.
James Barris. Yeah. Mike, what is your dream match to watch, as James Barris has asked us, and obviously past, present, guys that sadly passed as well?
Well, you know some of my favourite matches from when we've spoken before, but people like Mr. Perfect, Macho Man Randy Savage, Bret the Hitman Hart, matches involving people like that. Rick Martel as well was a class talent that I know JC's a big fan of from the AWA. But yes, something along those lines would be a good one for me. I always enjoyed Ted DiBiase's in-ring work, so $1 Million Man, Kerry Von Erich, Texas Tornado, people like that. You put all those guys into any sort of combination of matches, and you can have an entertaining match with great technical wrestling and great storytelling. So I think if we were going to pick one, I would have liked to have seen maybe Triple H versus Mr. Perfect at one, when they're both at the peak of their game, Mr. Perfect being a cocky face and, Triple H being the ultimate cerebral assassin. Would have been an interesting one to see, a bit of a dream match. But I've seen a heck of a lot of matches live anyway, so I've been so lucky to have, to have seen so much. And there's, up and coming wrestlers, if I was going to match anyone who's on the sort of scene now, I would say it'd be good to see a big match between Charles Crowley and Spike Trivet, I think, at Progress. I think that would be pretty special if they can ever get to a chance to work together, because those guys are on, really top level stuff. So, yeah, brilliant. That'd be class to see.
JC, I'm sure you've got a rich tapestry of matches that you could select here.
I've got so many I could pick from. I would like to see, in their prime, Kurt Angle and Kurt Hennig. I'm a huge fan. It's no secret. My favorite wrestler of all time is Greg Gagne. I'd like to see him. He doesn't get the credit. There it is on cue.
He's ready. He's ready for that.
I had a funny feeling Greg was going to get brought up. So yes, I did manage.
That
to
is Greg. With the AWA international TV title right there. Doesn't get a lot. I mean, great work. And a lot of people like to dog him. But one of the best things, I had a conversation with Ron Garvin, who said that Greg's one of the best workers he's ever been in the ring with. Actually, I got pulled away from this conversation. Probably it wasn't actually by his security, but I could have talked Greg Gagne with Ron Garvin all day. Jerry Blackwell is somebody, a big man, who actually in 2019, I actually got to talk to Road Warrior Animal, ask him a few questions. And one of my, you guys saw this. I don't hear any Jerry Blackwell stories. Jerry Blackwell was 400 and some pounds in the AWA, could throw a drop kick. And Animal actually says he picked him up for a body slam and almost fell over backwards with how light Blackwell worked in the ring. So seeing Blackwell work with another big man. Another one, interestingly enough, I was on the phone. This is name drop time, but it's not it is what it is. Hernandez has never faced Big Damo. I would like to see that. That's two big boys
there.
Yeah. And I know that's just, and when another name drop was awesome when I was with Lee McAteer and Wrestling Chapel, we went to SummerSlam, and sitting behind us was Billy Corgan before he had just kind of bought the NWA. And I just turned around to shake. This is pre-pandemic, so we shook hands, and I said, "Hey man, I just want to thank you for what you're doing." And the best thing, he goes, "I just want to bring back two big dudes beating the shit out of each other. That's what I want to bring back." And I'm like, dude, it's gonna be awesome. And territory system coming up, I'm interested to see that, because that is something I had batted around with some other people just to try to get some independent wrestling to support each other. But unfortunately in this business, it's hard to get people on the same page because everybody, but I think he's going to do it. He's great. He's got great intentions as anything. Sorry, that's way off. There's a lot of dream matches I'd like to see. Greg Gagne versus the world.
Lads, I'm a fan.
What do you got?
What have I got? Brett versus another clone of Brett. I'm taking the piss because
the Hitman series.
I get some messages sometimes privately. Do you like anything else other than Bret Hart matches? Of course I do. I like matches without Bret in, but I would like. I know Kurt Angle's actually said about this. He would have loved to face Bret, but maybe in an Iron Man. Kurt and Bret would be like a fantasy match I would love to see, but it's taking Bret out of the equation. I'm trying to think of guys that haven't faced. I don't want to make a boo-boo here. I'm trying to think what I'd do. Maybe a tag. Maybe I'm trying to think. Maybe FTR against Demolition. Maybe something like that. I'm just trying to think something different so I get away from the hit. I'm trying to get away from the Hitman here, but we've got Pink going on there, and yeah,
I'll jump in here. Because maybe Lazo hasn't seen this, or some of the people watching. Get on YouTube. It happened in the AWA, the British Bulldogs versus the Rock and Roll Express in Kansas City. A match that you didn't think you would see, and then a match now that you're like, holy shit, that happened. So check that out. I
remember you sending us that one, JC, over the year, like during lockdown. I think I watched more wrestling during lockdown than ever before in my life, and that includes when I used to watch the 1992 Year in Review VHS over and over again at the weekends.
Big Damo versus Vader. That would have been great to see.
That'd be class.
Absolutely. Two Titans going at it. Yeah, absolutely. And
Keep these to us. Put them in the comments. We'll read them all. We'll see them all. So if you're watching
Big
this,
Damo again. There's a recurring theme. I'll have to send some clips over to Damo with this on Twitter, on X. Versus a heel Rhino in a tables match would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
I know Damo was going to like this.
He had a cracking match against Paro at Effie's Big Gay Brunch UK. That's worth watching back. I believe that's on demand Progress Plus now as well. Yeah, definitely worth.
He's just one of my favorite dudes.
It was just it's just an absolute class act, Damo, and brilliant wrestler, so strong. And then him against Paro was just two massive guys. That's one to watch if you're a fan of that sort of style as well. And that was just a brilliant match. No, that's a good shout from Taj as well in the comments there.
Isn't T? Here you go, JC. This is for you, pal, because it pertains to the States. Isn't T made differently in the States? LOL.
Well, all I know is all my British fans that come over are like, "Where the hell's the T?" It's right here. No, that's not T. So we do it wrong. In fact, we threw it into the harbor in Boston back in the day. So
The T
Australia.
to pay is going cross-continentally now. We might do the
Look at that.
we might do the 7 continents about tea by the end of this.
The new topic. Stu's.
Australian tea is bland. I hate our bushel tea we have here in Australia. JC, what were you going to say?
Harold
Mate?
Bishop's
I was going to say,
up
Stu's,
there.
your spin-off series on the world of tea is coming up next. No, I was going to say, when you said Iron Man match, and I don't know, has Kurt Hennig or Mr. Perfect in it, has he ever done an Iron Man match? Because that would have been classic.
Absolutely.
Like Kurt, Shawn Michaels, man.
Absolutely.
You can see Kurt and Shawn Michaels in the AWA, of course.
Mm-hmm. There you go. There you go, man. You can't beat Brett's stuff with British Bulldog, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Mr. Perfect, Owen Hart, Steve Austin. So many great matches. Yeah.
Oh, Owen Hart, man. How much great stuff did we miss out on? Great. Some stuff now that we have, but it's just a tragedy.
Chai is awesome, nice and strong, LOL. I know one of my mates is into chai lattes at Costa Coffee, actually. He's big into it, but I think he was trying to pull the beer behind the counter, actually.
Oh, you're getting off piece now.
I don't think it was actually. I think he just wanted to go and chat. So I'll have a chai latte. Thought he was sophisticated, probably something like that.
This is a tea tangent. You've got on a tea tangent, Stu.
I might have to cut this when I put the audio up on the podcast channel, actually. Back to wrestling. I'm so sorry. Yeah, dream match: Kurt Angle versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania. You know, I would have loved to have seen that, Lazar. Absolutely. Oh my God, it's carried on.
You just want to comment about tea.
It's carried on.
Good comment there. You've missed.
Been loving the Nepalese style masala chai tea. Yeah, I've seen it above. Sorry, Mike. I have seen it. Right, back to wrestling.
There you go. That's the one I was talking about.
Effie versus Cora. Go on, Mike. If there's
That'll
anyone who can talk about this, you're the man because you've seen them. You've seen so much of these guys.
Yeah, of course. Cara, absolutely brilliant wrestler, super talented, like gymnastic style, and what an entertainer. And then Effie, of course, who's originated Effie's Big Gay Brunch and has been over in the UK for TNT so many times and on Progress as well. That would be an amazing matchup because these are two absolutely flamboyant characters who can wrestle at tough individuals, and that would be a cracking match. They both put it all on the line in that one. It'd be brilliant. And I hate to name drop as well, but my pet's just come into the room, so here's
doing it. Where's Miss Piggy? Where's Miss Piggy, pal?
Hang on, she's about. Oh no, hang on, it's someone else.
What the hell happened here?
I've got.
I was veering off to different varieties of tea in different areas, and Kermit's made an appearance. Absolutely, we've had it all.
Gotta go off on a tangent, Stu.
JC, I've got some more AWA graphics here, so it's just jogging your memory back because I know how much you're a big proponent of AWA when you were growing up watching it. Territories. Unfortunately for me and Mike, we didn't get to see the territories, did we? And I wish it would have been.
Just go ahead and call me old.
At the time, no, I wasn't getting at that. I said we missed out. We missed out,
yeah.
Massively when you look back. But it's great to watch the stuff back. But here's a graphic for you, JC.
All right, let's see it. There we go. That's where the Hulkster started. That's Mean Gene, and obviously that's the man Vern Gagne on the bottom. Fantastic. He's wearing Andre's suit coat there, Mean Gene. That's awesome. You can find a lot of these clips on YouTube.
Mean Gene, absolute legend, Mean Gene.
One of a lot of the crew there. Like, what do you think when you see that image, JC?
I think that was a Christmas photo they took taken back scene. Look at there's Greg, Mr. Saito. There's the Maddog, Rick Martel, right above Greg, Hulkster, Otto Wands, the Blackjacks. We just recently lost Adnan El Casey. Dr. D, David Schultz in the back there. He's somebody we should get on to. And that's all the way on your right. That is Jerry Blackwell in his Ayatollah Jerry Blackwell thing. Now, he was, and I don't see Ken Patera, so I'm not sure what year this This one is probably, well, obviously it's 82 or 83 because Hulk left at the end of 83.
Who's suggesting Elsa versus Kermit as a match?
Tosh is coming with that one. There we go. There you go. Get that booked, will you? And
That'll
then
be on Tidal Huddersfield next year there.
Laz is throwing all sorts of dream matches now. We've got Jonathan Gresham, the Octopus versus Bret Hart, 2 out of 3 falls or ROH rules. Yeah, that would have been a banger. That would have been a banger, no question about that. The technical prowess from both guys.
One of my favorite matches that I saw live, you put Alex Shelley, who doesn't get enough credit. Alex Shelley and Jonathan Gresham, I saw at Warrior, but I really am. Alex, they changed it. It was an out show, and it had rained. So I thought this is going to be all over the ring, and they did like a lot of groundwork. So it's just adapting to everything out there. It's just, I love Alex Shelley. Sorry.
Great wrestler as well.
Absolutely. Again, I always harp on about length of time in the business. It's just that look how many years, and look, he's looked after himself as well, which, the business isn't forgiving the toll it takes on their bodies. So the fact that he's still going is incredible. I just don't get enough time to watch everything. I'm kind of like dipping in and out of different promotions just to make sure I'm giving a little bit of time to everything. But, it's hard. It's hard to watch everything. It really is.
Meant to say, we had AEW over here the other month as well. JC, did you get to watch that at all?
The Wembley?
Yeah.
I did.
It was a cracker.
I did. It was
Stu
that
was
crowd.
there. Stu was there, ran into all Stu's mates and didn't run into Stu.
And literally, they were all in the next block across from me at Wembley. I could see him. I could hear Gav wooing. And I was like, I can hear it. And me and David are on the front row car block. Great seats, like, it's behind the staging, but it was great when they were front row.
71,000 people or 82,000 people?
85, I think they said now, wasn't it?
This is the thing, isn't it now? Like, how much? But fantastic.
Who cares? It was fantastic. Great.
I had a great time. Loved it. You could hear me on the TV, Stu,
Jungle Boy. I loved it. You need to watch this. I was like, right, what's he done? Oh, Jungle Boy's coming through, and then you picked it up on the TV. Unbelievable.
He was furious about that, because quite a few people joined in with me there, so that was good banter.
Stadium Stampede was brilliant. It was fantastic. They were literally just across from us. Mercedes Monet, when they did the little unveiling that she was there, like literally just across the way in the next block, the other side. But just everything about it, Mike, the way they ran it, I felt, you had your build-up promos on the big screen, but they didn't do a lot of backstage, did they? They concentrated on the amount of time they had for matches and stuff. It was just different. It was just different the way they produced it. And
so much to fit in. But it was reminiscent of SummerSlam 92 in some aspects, I thought. The way they had the setup and everything. I thought it was great. And if anything, hopefully it's lit a fire under WWE to run Wembley as well, because they deserve it.
Absolutely.
Some of them matches coming through a crackers. Keep the comments coming. We're in dream matches.
We bumped into Angus. I said I was only queuing probably 10 minutes after that, literally round the corner from me. I said the timing was off for the time we got in. But it was amazing going through the city on the tube and that, all the wrestling fans together. We bumped into two Italian lads. Their English wasn't the best, but they were struggling to get back. And David, my mate, he uses the underground a lot for work and stuff. So he helped them. He put them in the right direction. But it's just great seeing all the different people it was across the world, wasn't it? I think, was it 70 countries, they reckon, in the end? Yeah,
it was like our very own WrestleMania in the UK. And I think the more things like that we can do, the better. Obviously, is JC going to be in Philadelphia this year? That's what I was going to ask.
I will be seeing you gentlemen in Philadelphia, 100%.
Well, there you have it. That'll be amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's nothing like that open air stadium for pro wrestling, is there? Go back to Kerry versus Rick in World Class. Always has that, SummerSlam 92, that big feel. In fact, I do remember, was it WrestleMania 7 was originally supposed to be at the LA Coliseum, but because Slaughter had turned to an Iraqi sympathizer, They were so afraid of somebody taking them out, so they moved it inside. But I remember being disappointed because I just always loved that open air feel.
Yeah, amazing. I can't wait. And Stu, obviously we want to get you along to Progress on November the 12th. That'll be class. But one other thing I wanted to mention just while we're on, guys, and you've just reminded me, JC, obviously by mentioning Kerry Von Erich, the film that's coming out in December looks really exciting. The trailer for Iron Claw looked absolutely epic. Obviously, we'd all seen Zac Efron getting himself in shape for that, but I
thought Stewie would get that role, but Efron worked out a little bit more than Stewie.
Unfortunately, I haven't got the guns, but Michael trains. They could have had Michael. He's been in the gym, man.
I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. The gun show.
Got the guns.
Need to get the tan ready for the Rocky steps.
What about the Hulk Hogan film with Chris Hemsworth? I haven't heard much more about that. I know obviously there's a strike at the moment and stuff like that. But I
read something saying they were changing to a different. The Hulk wanted it to go to a different platform than what they were thinking of putting it out on. It was meant to be Netflix, wasn't it? But I think the last thing I read was that something had cropped up where they were going to be taking it elsewhere instead, and they weren't sure if. But Hemsworth was getting in shape for it, wasn't he?
Man, he was looking jacked. He was
Don't know where they're at with it now.
The thing on a lot of these movies that come out, even the Iron Claw, never until they actually come out with a trailer. I feel like there's a lot of, people can say anything on the internet. So just watching that trailer to see the way they captured the sportatorium, the ring canvas and everything was. Did you guys go back and watch World Class?
Yeah,
I've watched over the years. I've watched matches
as well.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's just like what a time that was.
And this is why I like the classic. Not that I don't watch the product currently, because once you're into wrestling, you're into wrestling. It's it's like a gang thing. You got initiated, and I shouldn't even mention gangs on that. But it's just I went back and watched like early 80s World Class, and it holds up. Storyline, everything, you get invested. Great talent. A lot of this. I highly suggest to anybody that likes the product, whatever, go back and watch some classic wrestling. Absolutely. Go back. It's almost like when you're into a band, you're like, oh, who influenced them? Go back and watch some of the stuff, and you're going to find out, oh, some of the stuff I'm watching today is not that original. It was done maybe it was done better, or maybe they're doing it better now, but it's just amazing. And I've always wanted to do a series on the lost moves of professional wrestling. Do you remember, was it Drew and Orton? They lost on a backslide, and I was like, that's awesome. And I saw I think Camille in NWA used the Russian leg sweep and abdominal stretch, a lot of things that you don't see. Now, if you go to the indies, where we're not trying to do, I imagine TNT and Progress, we're not trying to do like, okay, we got 2 minutes to go, trying to hold that crowd. You're going to see some of these lost moves of pro wrestling, but it's you go back and watch the Dynamite Kid Tiger Mask stuff, the series 7 series. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, some absolute classics.
It was like high flying before anybody did high flying. It's. I remember watching it. I actually bought it on eBay on VHS, like the old tape trading, but I wasn't trading because I had nothing, so I bought it and it blew me away.
Absolutely. Mike, just in closing, and I will get to you as well, JC, just obviously plug in this weekend shows again, where the viewers and listeners can find you as well, your personal accounts on the socials as well. That'd be great. Just in closing, my pals.
No worries at all, mate. Yeah, of course. So we're going to be at TNT Extreme Wrestling this weekend. It's TNT Ignition, Ignite the Fire, Saturday lunchtime, and then on Saturday evening, Cold Day in Hell for TNT Extreme Wrestling. Going to be absolutely amazing. Both on Saturday 21st, and tickets are still available now. And then, of course, on Sunday, down in London at the Electric Ballroom, we're going to have Progress Chapter 158, the long Halloween. Going to be an amazing afternoon. So much wrestling action coming up. And then, there's so much still to come the rest of the year. We've got shows coming up in Burnley and all over the show for the Maddog later on this year. So just looking forward to it. And, keep watching, guys. Check out all my stuff on Twitter, Instagram, on Facebook as well. And we'll try and keep you as updated as possible. And if you have any shows, make sure to come and get a Maddog selfie. If you don't get a selfie with the Maddog, you don't know you've been, really, do you?
Absolutely. You will catch Mike absolutely wherever you are in the UK. You're always in amongst the fans, aren't you, Mike? I know you love that time with the fans.
Make sure to try and say hello to everyone at the shows. And, if you see me there, come up and say hi. If I look like I'm running about with a headset on and looking panicky, then just let me go. But if the headset's not on, feel free to have a chat. I'm always available, and I'll, always great to have a chat to people, find out what they're enjoying, what we're doing right, and why they're, what their favorite things are that's going on the show. It's always great to hear that people are enjoying what we're doing. So that's what we work so hard for. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing everyone at Liverpool and London over the weekend. And just before I dive off, I'd just like to say thank you to Stu, as always, for putting this together and being so organised, and, the great pictures and, all sorts. Always great to chat to you guys. And, of course, great to see JC, that you're doing so well. And just make sure you're in training, ready to race me up those rocky steps in Philadelphia next year, my friend.
Absolutely. JC, before you go, just some plugs, please, mate, before you go.
Interestingly enough, I just got a text from Casey Navarro's management that I will have that interview this evening here. So I'll be posting that hopefully tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. But please, that's my logo right there. You can find it everywhere. Instagram at JC Pro Wrestling Show. Check out the Twitter. I think Twitter and TikTok is huge right now. You're going to see a lot of really cool clips. Those are at JC Pro Wrestle. So JCWRESTLE. Any followers that I get are appreciated. I've got a Facebook page. I'll do a lot more on Instagram and TikTok right now and Twitter. So if you have any questions, old school questions, Justin at ProWrestlingShow.com. And I'm excited about the future. I'm excited to be here for the future. But I just want to let everybody know that I bought the Pro Wrestling Show domain years ago. And I actually only put my name on it, not to be an egotistical guy, but I was waiting for somebody to come out and claim that they already owned the name Pro Wrestling Show. So like a jerk, I put my own name in front of it, but it's for everybody. And I would love, what I really would love to see, and I'm just going to say it right now, and I've always tried, anybody that's been to any live shows, especially territory shows, that has old photographs or any video from it, I would love to see it. I'd love to see people share it. I would actually share it on your behalf if you want, but I've seen so many people's newspaper collections and clippings, and just think getting together and sharing the history of pro wrestling with guys like you that actually weren't able to see a lot of the stuff. There's a lot of really cool photos that were taken of house shows, so I'd love to see them.
I look forward.
Hey, Stu, I had an idea. We should do a show where Justin shows us like his merchandise and stuff that he's got in collectibles. Similarly for yourself and myself, because we've got loads of old school stuff. Here, I'll show you one thing I got that's quite cool, actually, that's just next to me now while I'm here.
If he pulls out a Gonzo or something, or Mr. T. Ah, nice.
That's brilliant, mate. Yeah, I forgot you would have had one of them because of where you were sat. That's amazing.
It's a nice one, isn't it?
What a piece that is. A friend of mine has got a WrestleMania 12 seat. He's got family out in California, and he's still got his WrestleMania 12 seat. He's got quite a few. Actually. That's brilliant that you've got that, Mike.
It's a crack of that.
Fantastic. Yeah, what a piece.
Best show in Wembley for a while, so that's pretty special. I've got my WrestleMania 23 seat as well, which is quite cool because it's got Donald Trump on it as well, obviously. And he had that one with Vince. But last thing for me before I dive off, Stu, as well. Sorry,
no problem.
I'm looking forward to next time me coming on, because then I'll be the five-time Five-time Stu's Wrestling Podcast Champion, baby.
Mike Davis might have something to say about that. And JC's playing catch up, but yeah. It'll be interesting to see who gets to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it looks like you're
the last time I was on over 2 years ago, so I think you're safe.
Can you dig that, suckers?
But I tell you what, one of the things I'm working on hard behind the scenes is getting you some more guests. Stu, I know this is your platform and you're not going to say it, but anybody that watches your honesty and passion for pro wrestling in these interviews, I used to do the long form interviews like you do, and you do it so well, and you can see it come through. You're not afraid. What I like, you're not afraid to get something wrong and get correct. Like, oh, okay, I've seen that happen a couple times. And what I do want is somebody who can edit our videos of Del Wilkes together.
That's another thing that we've not managed to do. Because you've said about it. You have said about it. Yeah, we do need to.
Because I got Del Wilkes covered from his football years through the AWA, and I barely touch on the Patriot. And you I can't remember who had him on first. It doesn't matter, but obviously I touched on the territories, and you touched on WCW, and I think put those together as a tribute to what a great guy, gone way too soon.
It was sad. It was so sad, man, because he stayed in touch after. And you never expect people to stay in touch, but he legitimately we were messaging after, and then he had his poor health. It was sad, but he was a class act after during the interview, previous interview when we were setting it up, and then obviously after the interview, I was in touch with him quite a bit. So yeah, it just caught us all off guard.
Did you read Matlands yet?
I've got to get to it. I'm just finishing Bruiser Brody. I'm in the last probably 80 pages of that. And then I'm trying to think who I had. George Animal Steel, read his.
Right, yeah. Jim
Duggins was good. Because obviously when he was in the territories and stuff like on the road, some good stories on the road driving. There's some stuff on there, man. And like Deborah does some bits on it as well from her point of view and stuff because she was on the road with him for a bit. Deborah, she rode with him and all that. So yeah, just incredible.
Well, that would be a great guest.
I'd love to get the big man. He's auctioning off his SummerSlam '92 t-shirt and hat that he had on eBay, and I think the starting bid's $600. I noticed he put that up in the last couple of days.
Let's get him on Stu's Wrestling Podcast so more people know about the stuff he's auctioning off.
With Matlands, just to go back to Matlands for you, JC, I need to, that is the next one. And I've got it in paperback form, obviously. I'm not having to read it on my phone, my tablet. I've got it, the good old-fashioned paperback. And it was so nice of him to send that. You know, he foot the bill with the shipping, which isn't cheap. Shipping to the UK has gone ridiculous. It's really expensive. And he went out of his way to send that. I'm so gracious that he did that for me, you know.
Maybe you could get the ultimate guest if you called Jim and get Greg Gagne on.
That's you've got to have him, mate. he's your ultimate. He's your ultimate. I'm sure you will get him. I'm sure
so many people have said, "Oh, I can get you in touch with Greg," and
it still has nothing. But I'm sure
here I am talking about tea with you guys.
Yeah.
Maybe, hey, imagine that we got him on the tea podcast. Cup of coffee. Can you?
Cup of coffee with
Greg. Guys, thank you so much for sparing your time. I know you're busy with all things wrestling, shows coming up, and I know JC, not just with the pro wrestling show, I know you're on the road as well, going to shows and you're sorting things out, you're getting talent booked as well, which is great to hear, and helping the next wave of talent as well, JC. I know as much as you like the old school, you're doing so much, and like just going back to what we were saying earlier as well, just good to see you healthy, mate. Good to see you healthy and back, man. Honestly,
I appreciate it. I'm a lot more gray in the beard since the last time I saw you guys, but I'll take it over the alternative.
And Mike, I need to meet up with you at some point. I know what you're going to say. The 12th of November at the Ritz.
See you there.
I might have to swing that one by the wife, but yeah, I'm sure we'll get to do something. If not by the end of the year, maybe into next year, we'll have a meet.
We can do our coffee podcast from Conway Castle or something if you want.
From the mountains of Brazil, we'll fly in. We'll fly into Brazil for that one.
There's a little coffee shop by Conway Castle. We'll get in there.
Isn't there already a wrestling podcast that says tea and tights?
Yes, there is. There is those guys.
There's a good lads. Coffee as well. We'll have to get them all involved.
Yeah,
you have to get them involved, otherwise their lawyers are going to be calling us. So
get them tagged in quick, as well as Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Greg Gagne. They're getting on. It's going to happen.
Thank you very, very much. I think this is the first time I've had two guests on this podcast as well, actually. I was thinking about this earlier. My guest today from the Wirral in Liverpool, Merseyside, it is Maddog Mike Angus. And all the way from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, it is Justin Clapper, the host of Justin Clapper's Pro Wrestling Show. And just thank you for being a part of episode 159 of Stu's Wrestling Podcast.
And ladies and gentlemen, he was the Welsh wizard, Stewie Palmer.
Can we put the Who pinball wizard on, Mike?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll get them for copyright. I'll do a Tony Khan. I'll pay 30 grand so the wrestlers can come out to a song. Absolutely. Take care, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the comments. It's been very enjoyable today, and we will see Maddog and we will see JC very soon on Stu's Wrestling Podcast.
Drew T.
And on that note, we'll go to the outro. Latter portion of ECW, that 2000 into 2001, and obviously the subsequent closure, which guys were coming through. I know we were seeing like the likes of Rhino, people like which of the younger crop were coming through that you really like in
Steve Carino. Yeah. Steve Carino. Yeah, he was amazing. He was really, really good. Dusty Rhodes came in to work a feud with him, and Dusty Rhodes made him. I mean, Carino was amazing. He was just great, and he really helped us. At the end, and he actually became ECW champion. So, Carino was definitely great.
Good on the